Home prices are officially falling for the first time in over a decade. We're going to look at why it's happening, how fast it's happening, whether it's going to continue, and if it's a good time for you to buy a home.
Welcome to Personal Finance Club.
Here it is. This is the S&P Case-Shiller U.S. National Home Price Index. It basically looks at same home sales over the course of time. So when you build a new home, sometimes new homes are bigger than the existing homes, so that can alter the average home price, but this looks at the trend in same home sales. So if you sell your home later, if that price goes up and down. And generally, home prices go up. As you can see, all those green sections are months where the price increases, and the red sections are months where the price decreases. And we haven't seen a month where the price has decreased since the financial crisis real estate crash of 2007 to 2009. So we've had over 10 years of monthly increases in same home sales until just now when they released the most recent numbers and we saw our first ever decline in over a decade. Why is this happening? Well, in short, a few reasons. One, we're seeing big inflation, which means rates are going up the Fed is raising those rates to help curb that inflation. When rates goes up, that means mortgage rates go up. And when mortgage rates go up, that means your monthly expense goes up to buy a new home. That means it lowers demand or lowers the amount that new home buyers can pay, which means prices have less competition, which means home prices go down. So basically, it's more expensive to get a mortgage, which means people who are selling a home don't have as much competition. If we look at mortgage prices, this is the mortgage prices since about the mid-1970s. And so you can see back in the early 80s, it was crazy. They're up over 18%. And we've had historically low mortgage prices for the last decade or so, but now they're shooting back up as rates go up. And as they shoot back up, you can see that steep increase in mortgage rates is correlating to this tiny little drop right there, if you can see it right there, in home price sales. Is this going to continue? I said, no one knows the future. I can't tell you exactly what's going to happen, but you can see in those previous steep increases, before 2007, we kind of saw a steep decline in prices. And economies generally don't turn on a dime, and the Fed has made no indication that they're going to stop raising rates. So my prediction is yes, the home price index is going to continue to decline probably for at least a year or if not more. So I think we're going to see a lot more red over here from this little start. And I predict it's going to be sharp. Usually when there's like these sharp shoot ups, there's also sharp declines that follow. And I think that's probably what we're going to experience here. So that leads to the big question, should you buy now? And I'm sorry, but you're going to get the boring answer, which is you're not going to get rich by timing the real estate market. I know it's human nature to want to make clever financial moves based on what you see going on. You're like, oh, if I could only have bought then, or if I would have done this. And the reality is the way you're going to get rich is by buying less home, investing the difference, living frugally, investing early and often over long periods of time. If we look back at this chart, if you would have bought at the very peak the day before the decline of the housing crash started back in 2007, you would be fine today. The prices would go up 10 years later. If you would have bought at the very bottom of the crash of 2009 or 2010, yeah, you'd be slightly better off, but this isn't how people get rich by buying a house there or there. People get rich by investing early and often. So for example, if you bought a house every 2 years and it's an investment property rather than your primary home, 5 or 10 years later, you'd own 5 properties. And when you bought each of those properties, it wouldn't matter a whole lot. Just you accumulating more properties is how you get rich. And so if you're looking to buy your first home or switch homes, the exact moment you do it isn't going to be what makes you rich or not rich. What matters is you living frugally. Here's a little chart that shows it. So if you are renting currently, renting modestly is always going to beat buying luxuriously because homes have huge expenses associated with them. There's mortgage interest and property tax and realtor fees and insurance and maintenance and remodels and inspections and new roofs and driveways and sidewalks and everything. And so if you're renting modestly and then you buy luxuriously, you're going to be way wealthier if you continue renting. But the opposite is true too. If you buy modestly, you're going to be way better off than if you rent luxuriously. And it's important that you run the numbers. If you live in a part of town where home prices are crazy high and rents only kind of high, renting might be better. But if you live in a part of town where mortgage prices are super low and homes are super cheap and rent's super high, then you're probably better off buying. But either way, what you want to do is buy less home. So while it may be very tempting to try to time What seems to be this crazy real estate market that we may be entering, it's not going to make you rich. And if you want a home, someone else is going to want a home too. So there's never going to be a crazy steal on a new home. There's just always going to be the same general principles of buying modestly, renting modestly, investing the difference. And if you want to be buying real estate, look at buying investment properties. Look for good deals that have positive cash flow. You can buy an investment property where the rent coming in outpaces all of the expenses going out. If you can do that and accumulate them over time, that's one good way that a lot of rich people get rich. So while home prices are certainly falling right now, it's not going to be an opportunity to suddenly get rich quick. But what is going to make you rich? It's by following the 2 rules of Personal Finance Club. Rule number 1 is live below your means. And rule number 2 is invest early and often. See you next time.